I think it's the conspiracy of the bag industry. You will not find any Jaey trouser without pocket. That doesn't go. That is not approved by me at all. No. Brands think that हम क्या phone नहीं carry करते क्या मतलब हमारे पास क्या extra एक हाथ है जो हम लेके घूमे. Jaey is gonna be the next Raymond for women. Yes. That I think we need. Raymond would come to the campus, take the measurements of all the guys, get tailored blazers for them. But like nobody came for women. There are so many apparel brands out there, okay? So why Jaey? Every single piece at Jaey is personalized for you. You can get it in sizes from 2XS to 6XL. You can customize the sleeves, length, etc. as per your comfort. Got inspired by suits, and that's the whole reason you started this brand. So do you think you're implementing it while coming to the office every day? My team does not give me clothes. I barely have Jaey outfits. I have to ask for it. या अगर कोई defect हो जाता है या कुछ भी कुछ गड़बड़ हो जाती है या कोई कपड़ा बच गया है तब जाते मेरे लिए कुछ बनता है. So like first things first, I need to get my team to give me clothes to be able to wear it. Yeah. Otherwise now I can't wear any other brand. A young girl stands in front of a mirror, frustrated. Not because she doesn't know what clothes she needs to wear, but all the clothes that she owns is not telling her story. That girl is Jaini Haria. This frustration gave birth to a vision that is going to change the fashion game for every woman. Hi, I'm Chandra Bhattacharya from Team Jaey, and today we welcome you on our first ever podcast, The Blue Carpet Talks. Blue Carpet Talks is a podcast for women who have broken all the barriers and taken path that has never been taken before, one bold step at a time. Today we are starting our journey with none other than Jaini Haria herself, the founder of Jaey. She dared to ask the question, why does power need to have size? Today with her we are gonna get to know more about the behind the scenes about Jaey and how Jaey came into being. So let's be unapologetic just like Jaini and start this podcast. Hi Jaini. Hi, welcome. Thank you so much for such a wonderful introduction. It's the first time somebody from the team is doing this, so I'm super excited to speak to you. I'm super excited to talk to you more. Let's start with you were an investment banker and you were making a lot, let's just face it. But what made you switch from being a CA and making so much to becoming a founder of an apparel brand? Wow, I think my investment banking journey is the one that actually led me to take this step. I remember having this conversation a lot of times. Our team was women dominated, and a lot of times we used to discuss how it was just so difficult to get good clothes for meetings or for work, right? And we were a client facing team, so we were supposed to power dress to work every single day. And throughout my journey, right from CA to my MBA to investment banking, I realized that this is a space that actually needs a lot of work. If I have to go out to get a blazer or a formal for myself, there's absolutely no single brand that I can think of. Yeah. But while at Excel, right, before our placement season, Raymond would come to the campus, take the measurements of all the guys, get tailored blazers for them. But like nobody came for women. Yeah. That's when I realized that we need to do something about this space. Also, I'm a huge fan of the show Suits. So the way Donna, Rachel, Jessica dress up in the show, I get completely inspired. I've seen that show for like 5-6 times. And I realized that why don't we in India dress that way? And why are there such few brands or such costly pieces available that's just not accessible? Also, when you're a size from like an S or say for example L, XL, you still have some options across a few brands here and there. But the moment you are 2XL and above, the number of options are cut to almost zero. Yeah. I remember before I even, took that plunge, I did survey about 300 plus women asking what are the problems they face with workwear. Yeah. And I was just stunned with the kind of results that came in. I think two big problems came in. One is that just the designs and and options are not available at all, A. And B came in the sizing problem. And that's when I decided it's a good space to work in. There is not a lot of penetration. There are hardly any brands doing this. And a good step to actually make fashion and power dressing inclusive in India. Yeah. And I thought, let's take that step. And you actually mentioned that Jaey is going to be the next Raymond for women. Yes. So that's something that I think we need. because
Yeah.
we don't have
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah.
So coming back to this entire journey, so there are so many apparel brand out there. Okay, so why Jay?
I think that there has been a transition.
Okay.
If you would have asked me 5 years ago, is this a good space to build in? I probably wouldn't have been saying yes, because most women were wearing a kurta or a traditional outfit to work, right? I don't. It is a factor of A, not a lot of options available. B, just the way the society was at that point of time. If you wore a very powerful dress, maybe people looked at you in a certain manner,
Yeah.
and it was not comfortable to wear all day. In general, if you think यार blazer का नाम सुनते ही people are like very uncomfortable.
Exactly.
मुझे निकालना है बस.
And Mumbai
right?
में तो
Yeah,
it
it's
is-
just a nightmare. So it is a factor of unavailability of options, just a thought process, probably not enough exposure. I think then COVID happened, social media boom happened. People started focusing on workwear and outfits and styling a lot more since social media. Shark Tank happened.
Yeah.
People started seeing Vinita, Namita wearing such power outfits to work, to the episode.
Yes.
And I think then there was more of an inclination to wear outfits like this.
Yeah.
So today is the best time to really be doing this business, because a lot many more women are entering the workforce, be open to wearing power outfits that are not Indian, are more Western. Any which ways, there is a very grayish line for women when it comes to workwear, right? Like
Yeah.
semi-formal, formal के बीच में इतना कुछ strict नहीं होता as it is as men.
Yeah.
So that is when I realized कि यार this is a genuine need and a space and the perfect time to build it, and that's how Jay was born. In terms of why there are so many apparel brands out there but still Jay stands out, is obviously the category, like I mentioned, is category mein there are not a lot of brands. You get a lot of denim, casual wear, Indian wear, everything, but when you say blazers or pasuits, there are hardly any. Second is point blank our personalization and our inclusivity, right? Every single piece at Jay is personalized for you.
Yeah.
You can get it in sizes from 2XS to 6XL. You can get it tailored to your own measurements in SizeYOU, which is completely personalized for you. You can customize the sleeves, length, etc. as per your comfort, right? A lot of times I remember when earlier, before even starting Jay, I used to go shopping. I would see that, yeah, I love this dress, but this is just too short for me. I am not a person who wears this short. But what if somebody could actually make it longer for me? So that was my little personal problem, my little dream that I actually brought it to being. And I'm just I'm just awed by the amount of acceptance there is for this. So that's how Jay also differentiates as compared to all the other brands out there. We are just super personalized and super inclusive.
But I think in India, I would not be talking about any other country or anything, but in India, I think there is a need of where you need these kind of customizations and personalizations. I think we had this conversation just before we entered here that, even I don't get my sizes, you know.
Yeah.
Like, even
It's
if I
not
go...
just about plus, it's also about the petite.
Yeah, and the thing is, in UK, I am like some size, but when I am, buying Indian brands, I get my sizes extremely big and I cannot fit into them, and I have always altered myself if I'm buying from any homegrown brand.
Yeah.
So, I mean, definitely. So the concept, like, I personally find it extremely amusing. SizeYOU. This sounds amazing and interesting, but I guess, like, what are the challenges of it? Because when you are saying SizeYOU, you are actually trying to take the correct measurements of the person and alter it according to them. So how does it work online, or if when it's happening offline, what are the challenges? What is the entire process?
So SizeYOU has its own journey. I remember when I started Jay, it was supposed to be a SizeYOU only brand.
Yeah.
We had a tool called a virtual tailor that would capture all your measurements with just 2 photos, 70 plus accurate measurements. And it used to be genuinely perfect, and we used to make garments using those measurements. However, we were a young brand, we were not funded, we had limited resources, so getting the acceptance of the virtual tailor was a huge challenge for us.
Yeah.
Because then you have to stand in front of the camera, you have to wear snug fitting clothes, you have to click photos, so people are not very comfortable with it. So then we just said that, hey, let's pause the virtual tailor concept for now. We'll probably bring it out later when the offline situation happens.
Yeah.
And we pivoted from the virtual tailor to a manual sizing system, which is also very smooth and foolproof. So the way it happens is when you place a SizeYOU order online, you get a detailed measurement guide of how to measure yourself. You follow that guide, you give us the measurements. We also have some cross checks, like what's your usual size like, what's your body type like, etc. And then based on that, once we get your measurements, we re-verify the measurements with the sizes that you've given, and somebody from our team also reaches out to you regarding the measurements in case we have any confusion or anything of that sort. Then it's tailored. We work closely with the production team. Every single piece is made from scratch. It's completely tailored, made for you of sorts. Once it reaches you, you try it out. More often than not, the fit is amazing if the measurements are right. Sometimes it so happens that, probably somebody is taking the measurements differently, or, they just didn't take it seriously and just put random measurements and the fit goes completely off. We do offer one alteration in that scenario. So once it's altered and all, we ensure, like, our goal is to ensure that the garment fits you perfectly, no matter what, right? And that is how it works. It is challenging, to be honest, because, like I said, every person has, if you put two tailors in front of you, both these tailors will also have a different way of measuring. So every person has a different way of measuring, and Indian body types are quite different. There are like hundreds of body types, not just 4 or 5. And then understanding how the shape is and actually putting it to life, it's not easy. So that's a challenge, but we have such a wonderful team and such expert tailors that we actually have been able to make it happen.
Can you recollect one of the first, like, initial first experiences of SizeYOU, and what was the response back to it?
My initial first experience of the measurement wala SizeYOU, was when she actually came to office and Master Ji took her measurements himself. Like, that's also what we do. If you're based in Bombay and if you're not comfortable measuring yourself, we invite you to our office on an appointment basis and you can give your measurements. Master Ji himself will take your measurements. But she tried one outfit first. She's like, let me try, I'll see, and then we'll figure out whether we want more. She tried one. She loved it so much. She ended up buying 11 outfits. And we were damn small. We were doing like, 30, 40 orders a month.
Oh my God.
In that particular stage, having 11 orders from one person or 11 pieces was huge for us. And she was quite like a 5XL or sorts. And I still remember that one line she told me is that, Jaini, you've made me feel again that I can actually wear clothes like this, where I thought I never could. And because she's gone through a lot of stages in her life, there was some depression, this, that, and her body had gone through a lot of changes. And that statement still stuck with me. We could actually make a difference in her confidence and in herself, and that was like the most amazing part of it.
It sounds great. I mean, it feels great, when you actually have a vision and it's coming true. So, what's behind the name Jaey? I mean, we have talked about it, but
it's actually a little funny. I get a little shy when I say this, but nevertheless. So, there are 3-4 people in my life who are allowed to call me Jaey. That's a pet name. And whenever they do call me Jaey, I think I feel extremely pampered. Like, however angry I am, you call me Jaey, and for some reason that anger just goes away. So we thought a lot of names for this for the brand first, but then I also realized that if tomorrow we want to expand, then it will be quite difficult, because then if we stick to a particular offering, then you can't really expand. And then I thought, Marks and Spencer's bhi kisi ka naam hi hai, Van Heusen bhi to kisi ka naam hai. I'm like, why not keep it
Chanel,
Christian
Dior, all of it.
So I was like, let's keep it Jaey, and that is how Jaey was born, because I wanted Jaey's customers to feel as pampered as I do when they wear Jaey.
Great. I mean, it's the start of something bigger brand, Building for millennials versus Gen Z, do you think it is different? Like you have both the sections in your company itself. You face them every day. Who do you think exactly you are aiming to reach out for this brand? Like, who is your TG, let's say?
Yeah, honestly, I don't really get Gen Zs. I mean, none of us in the team, till some Gen Zs have really now joined us, has really got Gen Z. So we did start building for millennials. because our focus was a mid-premium product that's not too affordable, that's also not too luxurious, but something that a working woman who works decent enough can afford. But now we've also realized that now Gen Z also values what we offer a lot. Like personalization is something that they deeply value because they really want things that are unique to themselves. And they focus on comfort a lot. And our entire ethos is based on comfort and personalization, right? So we've realized that this works really well for us. And like for Gen Z as well as millennials, the only difference that would probably be is the price point a little bit. So we are also trying to introduce a lower price point range, which can appeal to the Gen Z a lot as well. But our focus has been millennials. We are shifting to both now, and it's a journey in itself. And it's quite, I'd say, quite a huge learning for us. क्योंकि Gen Z को समझना इतना आसान नहीं है, specifically for millennials.
But once you crack it, Jaini.
Yeah. I think there is purchasing power.
Yeah.
There is preference for inclusivity, personalization, everything. It's just about the way we really can attract them, their design or their, I'd say, their preferences are very different from millennials. So the designs that are supposed to be made for Gen Z are supposed to be very different from the millennials. Higher focus on comfort, some very unique style elements, something that's not too boring, too formal. And that's something that we've been trying to crack as well. Hopefully in 2025 will be the year of Gen Z for us.
Coming to that point, so what's the journey been like over the last 2.5 years since you've started Jaey, and where do you see it going in 2025? Like let's just crack the end of 2025, the manifestation that you guys always work on.
Yeah. So the last 2.5 years have genuinely been quite a journey. I remember obviously every startup starts with a one-person team, and so did I. And let's accept it. I don't come from a very loaded family where I have like crores of rupees to spend on the startup since the very beginning. Nor were we funded. I completely bootstrapped. I probably barely had like 10-20 lakhs with me, and I had to run the show for an entire year. It was, I mean, to put the long story short, it was a one-man army for a very long time. I remember I used to like cut the fabric at my place. I used to take that piece of fabric, go to Master Ji, who is like 20 kilometers away from my place, stand in front of me, explain him the entire design, and like come back and then go again the next day or 3-4 days later, when once he would be done with the piece, go again, check it, then he would goof up something or the other in that piece, then come back again, then deal with customers. Every single thing I used to do on my own, do the marketing. I did have one designer and one intern, but we would all work from home. It was COVID also back then. So it was quite a journey, and my mom and my dad used to be my team, right? So order आता है तो वो fabric का roll होता है basically पूरा, right? So you have to remove that fabric from the roll. We used to bichhao it on the bed. Dad would hold it from one end, I would hold it from other end, cut and all of that craziness we've done. We had the worst disaster when it came to our website as well. So everything that could possibly go wrong did go wrong in the first year. But thankfully it was COVID. Nobody was going to work any which ways. So it was not a lot of opportunity loss by then. Of course, keeping my salary apart. But that was like actually a year for me to also learn, because I don't come from a fashion background, right? I'm a CA, MBA. It was completely new to me. Kaun sa fabric kya hota hai? No clue. And from there started 2022. I left my job in this October 2020. 2021 was like the year of disaster, but also a year of learning. 22 is when we actually started our first website. That's actually also when I got married. So it was a huge transition year for me back then. Then we ran the website for 6-8 months, but things weren't just working out. We did the whole virtual tailor thing. Then we again revamped the website, had another website by 2023. I had like 2 co-founder breakups in between. They were very heartbreaking. So it's just so many things that went wrong. But then when 2023 came, we figured what we really wanted. We figured the right way to sell to people. We figured what's working, what's not working. And since then, we've grown quite a lot. our team has grown from one, me, my designer Sujata, Masterji. We are now like a 15 people team, and our customers love us so much. So entire journey has been so fruitful, and I honestly wouldn't have had it any other way. Learning wise, even if I was doing banking, I wouldn't have learned what I've learned today. So it's been quite a journey, and I'm very grateful for all the time and opportunity that I've gotten. 2025 is going to be a lot of offline focus also for us. So that's the year when we actually go big as a brand. We go big offline. We see, like, apparel is all about touch and feel.
Yeah.
You kitna bhi online बेच लो, you really need to touch the fabric to be able to understand what it is. So that's gonna be our focus and gonna be present everywhere the customers are looking for us. So let's hope for the best.
And that's how it is a huge saying, like, just start with it. I have this was something that my teacher told me when I was really young, and I used to suck at drawing. I never used to be good at it, and she was like, just put a line on the paper, and then you just start drawing. Okay, something would happen. I'm like, okay. And then I just like put a line on this paper and then erase it, and then I made something. It was not amazing, but at least that scare of ruining that paper, that went away. I'm like, okay, now it's already, the line is there. Now I have to do something about this, So good. Start.
It's all about starting. I think once you step into it, and it's about mentally being prepared that this journey is not going to be easy.
Yeah.
You're going to fail a lot of time. There are going to be a lot of challenges. You're not going to figure it out for like 3-4 years.
Yeah.
But if you really are passionate enough and you believe in your own vision, then you will certainly reach a point where things fall in place.
And people don't get it. It's a huge deal to start a brand, and the brand to actually get the recognition of people so that they invest their money to buy from you.
Yeah.
So the first 3 years is the learning year, and then you grow. And I think we are doing it amazingly. So, okay, tell me, so does the business ever stop without you?
Wow, that's a good question. I think if you would have asked this to me probably 8 months ago, I'd say yes. If I am not there at work, something or the other will just not work. Probably orders will not be processed, probably because we're a small team, and I was doing a lot of hand holding. I did not have any partner back then to be able to take the stress with me. So if 8 months ago you would have asked me that question, it is a definite yes. And I barely went on any trips also till then, because then who'll do the business? But then now I think things are very different. Now I'm like so happy about it, because we've built a team and the ops in a manner that even if I'm not there, the show will not stop. And orders are processed, or growth is happening, marketing is happening. So I think we've grown there where we have a very capable team now to do it, and I am just thankful for every single person putting in the efforts and matching up to the expectations. But it's just been a ride, and I think it doesn't stop without me anymore.
But like before 8 months, do you think it was a whole burnout situation for you?
Yeah, because like, how much firefighting can you possibly do, right? You're a human, you're handling like 10 departments. You're the marketing person, you are the designer, you are the operations person, you are the customer service, you are everything. And then things break everywhere. You are also doing tech, you're doing website, you're designing the website, you're everything. So when you're like solo, there is just so much stress on your head that every other time there would be a burnout. And you don't know how to get out of it also. But like, because how do you stop working, right? The moment you stop working, that's an opportunity lost for you. So you can't stop working. But then in that situation, even if you work you're unproductive. And then you go into that loop. There have been numerous times when I felt the burnout. And then I had my own coping mechanisms. I would just take a break for a day or something. Watch some motivational videos. Or there is this...
any suggestions?
No, so that's my personal favorite. So there are Brahma Kumari's ka videos. I don't know if you've ever watched them, but there's this Brahma Kumari Shivani, who's a leader and a very peaceful, very smart, very on to the point person. And there are videos on YouTube for every single problem you're facing. She has a video and a solution, and she's just so good. I used to spend nights listening to her and sleeping because I couldn't sleep otherwise, and it's definitely helped me cope a lot. And I mean, I still have burnouts, by the way, but then a
Don't
lot
we
lesser.
all?
But yeah, we all do, but a lot lesser than what it used to be a year ago.
It's very very important to have a team that thinks alike.
Yes, yeah. Now my entire team has burnouts.
Yeah,
It's not just
together
me
we have
anymore.
burnouts.
Yeah.
Okay, what goes behind the scene when an order is received? The entire packaging process, everything. Like, what is the chaos
Yeah,
like?
it's a circus. It's a real circus. Because, yeah, what we also try to do consciously is that we try to put our 100% best on every single order. I'll give you an example. If you order a cord set on the Jaey's website, you can order the top and the trouser for a different size. You can't do that on marketplaces. Like, if you're an S, you'll just get S and 28. But on our
Yeah.
website, you can select S and 30, 32X.
Okay.
Sometimes customers end up selecting an M and say 44.
Mm.
M and 6XL basically for the trouser, right? You know that something is not going to fit her. How will an M or 6XL fit her?
Yeah.
So we literally see every single order to the depth of it.
Yeah.
Understand, यार boss इसने पहले M खरीदा है, अब वो L खरीद रही है, तो it will be a problem. Or we ask her if she's really put on. Or if she's taking such off sizes, we speak to her.
Yeah.
Are you confident this is your order?
Yeah.
And people also feel very good because they know that somebody behind is actually worrying about it. It's not that, see, logistically it is challenging, but more than that, we want the customer to be happy at the first shot,
Yeah.
right? So a lot of effort first goes in just understanding the customer orders. So we have like an ops team group. So a lot of every day there is something that goes up there. Then our master Gs and tailors sit with us itself. So then if the order is being made from scratch, then the design team or the ops team, merchandisers coordinate with the master Gs. Then we also focus on the timelines. Like, does the customer need it on a particular date for a particular occasion? Can we do what we can to make sure that it goes on the right time, right? So that goes on a lot. And after that, I think it's process. Once it's stitched, there's a QC process that happens.
Yeah.
Where we check the order with the measurements of this thing. We check the fabric for defect or anything. We check every single thing, and only after it passes the QCs when it is packed and shipped out. And even for shipping, we've tried like a million shipping partners, but now we've gone up with one of the most premium partners, which is Blue Dart. So it ensures that it delivers in like 2 days.
Okay, you told me multiple times, even when we are talking, that you got inspired by suits, and that's the whole reason you started this brand. So do you think you're implementing it while coming to the office every day? Is your like workwear outfit, is there like different
I'm
from how
gonna
you're going?
accept it that our office is not very aesthetic or in a good situation. There's barely place to walk in the outfit, and we like walk around barefoot or with office chappals. So that whole motivation to do the suits thing in office is
But
very
you
less.
always wear for the job the position that you are going to see yourself in.
You know, people say that women
Yeah.
usually
Yeah.
don't focus on themselves. They focus on everything else but themselves. And I'm solving for it, but I'm that woman. I don't focus on myself. But I'm working on it. One fine day there will be. And okay, my team does not give me clothes. I barely have J outfits. I have to ask for it. या अगर कोई defect हो जाता है या कुछ भी कुछ गड़बड़ हो जाती है या कोई कपड़ा बच गया है तब जाते मेरे लिए कुछ बनता है. So like first things first, I need to get my team to give me clothes to be able to wear it.
Yeah.
Otherwise now I can't wear any other brand clothes. Yeah,
Contract
it's gonna
ho
be हाँ.
Complain.
It's,
She's not
yeah.
gonna like this though, okay,
Yeah,
when
yeah.
she sees this.
No. Bichari she gives now that Rashmi also comes to hold it. So I have the upper hand, but still.
Okay, so what are your design ethos?
Probably 3 things. One is every single piece at J has some or the other element to it. We ensure that we keep up the style game very strong, something that you will not find easily anywhere else. Second, we try to make pieces that are as I'd say versatile as possible, so that any woman of any shape or size can actually look very good in it and it'll be
Yeah.
quite flattering for her. So we try to make quite inclusive styles as well. And comfort is the highest priority. So all the fabrics are handpicked and they're actually tested on ourselves before actually coming to life. So we ensure that every single piece is something that you can wear from morning to night, from desk to dinner. You can wear it for like parties as well as meetings and still not look out of the place. So a lot of thought goes into all of these factors. Is it little too much? Is it little too less? Can this be also, changed to a certain manner? And pockets.
Oh yeah.
Every single piece at J, as far as possible, has pockets.
Pockets
See,
in it.
sometimes some things practically can't have pockets, because if it's like a bodycon dress, if you add a pocket to it, it's kind of gonna ruin the entire look of the
Yes.
bodycon dress. So you can't, and then we don't, because you don't want to ruin everything. But then, जहाँ possible है, जितने हैं,
Yes.
80-90% of our dresses have pockets.
Reach to pockets
Skirts.
for women pants, please.
Yeah. You will not find any J trouser without pocket. That doesn't
Yeah.
go. That is not approved by me at
No,
all.
no. That is very important. You know,
Yeah.
once I by mistake found a pocket in my skirt, and I was happy for the entire day just because of that.
Dude, you get it? Like people think, brands think that हम क्या phone नहीं carry करते क्या?
हाँ.
मतलब हमारे पास क्या
Wallet
extra
नहीं है
एक
हमारे
हाथ है
पास.
जो हम लेके घूमे. और it's this, I think it's the conspiracy of the bag industry, handbag industry.
Yeah, they think like, we don't have anything to pay from anyways.
Yeah.
So, what is the most ironical and the funniest thing that you have heard from a customer?
Okay, this I can answer in a jiffy because it's very recently happened. So we did a pop-up, okay, and we did it at one of the most luxurious societies of Bombay. And Bombay property is anyway so costly. So we did a pop-up there, and then I and Rashmi had a discussion that, hey, you know what, these are already very rich people, so I don't think they care about a sale or a discount anymore. So let's not take clearance sale items. Let's only sell at full price. I'm sure people will, like Rashmi was of that opinion. I said, mostly to nahi hoga, but let's see. You won't believe those people were bargaining for $100. They're like, kuch to kam kar do, for like 1,000 rupees, it's like 900 le lo. I'm like, bro, you are living in such a fancy house. You should
How
know
do you
our
think they got
journey.
that fancy house?
Yeah, but 100 rupees. And not just one person, every single person did that. And there were some people who came कि यार sale पे क्या है, मतलब ठीक है, it's fine to be reasonable about things, but it's not that our outfits are very exorbitantly priced.
Yeah.
And then even on Instagram, people come and say कि यार your prices are very high. आप जैसे तो same piece मिल जाएगा Myntra पे. So my question is, then you can go buy from Myntra or any other brand. The reason our outfits are priced so the way they are priced is because it's the quality and it's the offering that we give, that you're not gonna get in a 500 rupee piece no matter what you do. And you don't go to a Zara or Gucci and say, na, thoda kam kar do please, thoda kam kar do. You go and buy and you just spend like anything on them.
Yeah.
And still not question what they're doing or why they're doing it. So from a homegrown brand where we are already having such low margins and just struggling to really survive, you can leave us a little bit of, cut us a little bit of slack, I say.
Yeah.
So I think that's the most ironical thing I have ever faced, and I haven't still gotten to a point where people will stop doing this or this if there is a way out of it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay, so do you think like it's a thing like customer is God? Do you align with this thought? You believe on it?
I started with aligning with that, to be honest, because entire education system is something that says that customer is God, do everything to ensure that customer is happy. And honestly, we do everything to ensure that the customer is happy, to the point that the customer starts getting unreasonable.
Yeah.
That's the point where we say, no, the customer is not God anymore. We have a policy where you only get to exchange once, or like return to ek hi baar hota hai, exchange once. There have been customers who've asked for exchanges thrice. I mean, I get that you didn't get the right size. You probably picked the wrong size, or for any reason this size isn't working for you. You know in one shot na, that some other size. You can't exchange it for 3 times. And exchanging of 3 times means I am paying a 1,000 rupee logistics charge on it. One way is like $200 for us, because we'll use Blue Dart, a service like Blue Dart. So like when customers start getting so rude or say, I think I'd say unreasonable in their demands or something, that's where we draw the line, and we have our own stand that this is our policy, and we'll cut you slack once. We can probably waive off or whatever, give you that this thing, but we can't keep doing it again and again because it's financially not viable for us. However, I'd say that these cases happen like 1-2%. 99%, we ensure that the customer is the highest priority and everything we do is aligned to them. But in that 1% case, we just won't. And then no matter how much they come and say, it's such a bad service and this, we in our heart know that we've put everything to that service, and then some people are just unreasonable and they're going to be because they think, and you know what the funny part is, that they don't know I'm on the other side. They think it's a customer service person. And there's a difference between the way they speak to a customer service person and the way they speak to a founder. But I never introduce myself as a founder because I don't want them to talk to me in any other way. And the kind of things that people say is just, just below the line. So that's when we also draw a line, we will not change our pricing, or we will not change the way we do things, because it doesn't make any sense.
At the end of the day, it's business.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay, this is one of my favorite questions, and you also know it. And you have been asked this before when you said you got a little awestruck about the entire situation. So, let's say you've thought about it again or not. So, why do you think you will fail?
Yeah, I still keep thinking about it, to be honest, and I don't know the right answer for it. But probably I think why any brand would ever fail, or any startup would ever fail, is because they are failing on the execution part. Say two brands are starting together in the exact same line. One brand goes to 100 crore where other brand just stays to a 1 crore level, and the reason between the two of them is simply purely execution. So I think if ever I feel like I don't want to execute, this is what I remember, that if I don't execute, I'm gonna fail. And that's, I think, the one for me, and also a motivator for me.
Yeah. But people need to think when they talk about execution, it's like from all the area, from production, say Lakers, sales till marketing, everything needs to be A game, because there are not one or two brands that are there in the competition, right?
Yeah.
Even if we put for women, raiment for women, but still it's like end of the day people are going to denote it as apparel brand. So that's really true.
And it is also about the time from an idea to an execution. You might have tons of ideas, and everybody does, but then how long do you take to execute it is everything. And like you rightly said, from all fronts. So you need to have ideas on all fronts and make sure that every single place you're just having your A game on.
So, continuing to the last question, so what would be your piece of advice that, you're willing to give out to people who are actually trying to get into this career, or let's say trying to change the career shift that you did, it was huge. So, let's say somebody right now is sitting there thinking about doing that career shift. What is your one piece of advice or anything that you want to motivate towards that? So,
I think there's not one, but I'd say 3 tips from my end. A is, if you're changing your career, or if you're starting in a different space than you've studied or you've been all your life, do your thorough research. Ensure that every data point is crossed. Make sure you reach a point where you know every single step that it takes to execute it, and see yourself doing that every single step. And then ask yourself that question, that do I see myself doing this for 50 years, 30 years, whatever, how much ever it takes. Am I willing to put so much time of my life doing this? Do I enjoy doing this? Because it's very glorious right now to do a startup because everybody is doing it. But once you get into it, you realize how cruel it is. It's not easy at all. So you need to speak to people, do your research, and understand whether this is something that I'm super passionate about and I'm going to give up everything to do this. B, check your finances straight. Right. Again, it might sound quite glorious, but then you have to be prepared for 4-5 years of life without earning a single penny. Do you have that kind of financial backing to be able to do it? If yes, then go for it. Third is, if all these 2 boxes are ticked for you, you must just start. Like you also mentioned earlier, it's all about starting. And it is ironical that the easiest part of running a business is actually starting it. The most difficult part comes after that. But then if you don't take that step of starting it, you're not going to reach anywhere at all, right? So these are my 3 tips, that A, check your finances, make sure you've done your research thorough, and if both these tick very well for you, just start, take that plunge, and it will work very well for you, 100%.
But I get your point, but the thing is, just to start something as well, as an entrepreneur, just give a piece of advice. How do you take that one plunge? How do you...
Don't overthink it. That is my only answer. When I was leaving banking, if I would have overthought that situation,
Yeah.
I would have stuck in banking. See, banking is a very good job. I loved every bit of it. It's not like I didn't like it, and it's a lot of money. Today, if I was doing that same job, it would still
Yeah.
have been a lot of money. But I could have left. Like, could I leave that kind of money today? I'm not sure. But tab I had that risk taking capacity, no responsibilities on my head, this, that,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
a huge support system, which I still do. So if you have, like, if you are passionate and you have a full conviction that this is going to work, it's just about taking that risk. And everybody has a different risk taking capacity. So honestly, there can be a no blanket answer for this. Some people are just very risk averse. So they might not be able to do,
Yeah.
and they might feel that comfort zone lies in a job. But that's okay. Like, nothing is right or wrong. So if a job works for you, great. But then if you're really passionate about doing it, this is the biggest risk that you have to take. And what's the worst that can possibly happen? फेल कर जाओगे 2-3 साल उस पर काम करोगे नहीं वर्क करेगा यू विल हैव टू स्टार्ट बैक गो बैक टू द जॉब मार्केट स्टार्ट फ्रॉम स्क्रैच एंड दैट्स ओके एज वेल राइट मोस्टली टुडे अ लॉट ऑफ कंपनीज डू appreciate a lot of startup experience as well and you might get back even better but then
Yeah.
if you don't start you'll never know whether you were a success or fail so it's just about not overthinking it, taking a deep breath and just starting.
Okay, that was an amazing conversation that we had. More conversation that we normally have. And I loved every bit of it. It was really insightful. I hope people who are seeing it and the new entrepreneurs, they all get really inspired by it.
Thank you so
But
much.
I hope you had fun. I had fun.
I did a lot.
And this was a successful episode. And a lots to come in future. And
Yeah.
for that, everybody has to wait and see.